You know, there's some that my dad worked with that sound like they would really be wonderful to work with. Um, my father was the gaffer on It's a Wonderful Life, and it started out with a cameraman. And one day in dailies, Frank Capra said, "Why is it that everyone's always in a perfect key light?" He said, "There's no key light follows me around my living room." And his cameraman said, "Well, you know, Frank, that's just the way we do it." And they got rid of him. You know, and it was because the question really is, um, the lighting now is drawing attention to itself because it doesn't look real. It's visible instead of invisible. And so Frank Capra called Harry Cohen at Columbia and asked if he could borrow Joe Walker to work on It's a Wonderful Life. And Harry Cohen said, "Yes, sure, but if I need him, he's got to come back." So they shot for a few more weeks, and then Harry Cohen called and said, "Sorry, Frank, I got a job for Joe." So Frank Capra went to Joe Walker and said, "Who should I get?" And Joe Walker said, "You should move up the operator to be the DP, because he's been here the whole time. He knows what we're doing. He'll do a fine job." And that was Joe Byrock's first time as a director of photography. And he ended up being nominated for a number of Academy Awards and winning an Academy Award. And so after I'd done a movie with John Alonzo in New Mexico and Louisiana, I came back home and I got a call to work on a commercial with Joe Byrock. Very toward the end of his career. He must have been 80 or something, you know. And that's why we were talking, you know. He was amazed that he's working with the son of Homer Plannette. And so he'd ask about this movie I just finished, and I was telling him, you know. And he said, "How many arcs did you have?" So I said, "Well, Joe, we didn't have any arcs." I said, "We just shot in backlight, and we put white cards up on either side of the camera and bounced the sun back onto the hats." Well, he said, "That won't work." So I said, "No, it worked. We've already done it. It worked out fine, you know." But the picture was Casey's Shadow with Walter Matthau about a quarter horse race. Yeah. Backlight looks great. And, you know, yesterday we were discussing with John Toll about Legends of the Fall. And after one screening, Haskell Wexler said to John, "My gosh, John, a whole movie in backlight." Because when you're shooting exteriors, you can just follow the sun because the background is trees and stuff. You can't tell which direction you're going. And backlight, everybody looks better in backlight. Because then the light in the front is very soft and all the wrinkles and stuff go away. And so you can, in the olden days, you might shoot in backlight, but you'd have an arc for fill light on somebody's face. But that really isn't necessary. You take a white card and the sun bounces back and you see the reflection in the eyes. You know, it's just all you need. But my father told me another story at Columbia. What they used to do is the gaffer and the grip crew would come in at 7:30 and light the set, and then the cameraman would come in at 8:30 and say yes or no, you know. So they were doing this scene in a railroad car at night with no lights. And my father was thinking about how to light that, and he noticed a ceiling piece leaning against the stage wall. So he got the grips to come over and put the ceiling piece up like this, and he took a big light and bounced into the ceiling piece, and there was soft, no shadow light. And you underexpose that, and it looks like you're out in the dark. And so the cinematographer came in and he said, "What's that?" My father explained the concept to him, and he said, "We always just put a broad on either side of the camera." And my dad said, "And you have two shadows." "Well, yeah, but that's the way we've always done it." So that's what they did.